What's up, you guys? This is your new weekly college football show with the best picks and the hottest takes each week for this football season. This is Beat the Odds College Football Edition on OddsChecker. I'm Katelyn Heffler, and these are my other awesome co-hosts. Go ahead and introduce yourselves, you guys.
Hey, everybody. Alex Kirshner here. I am the co-host of the Split Zone Duo College Football Podcast and a contributing writer for Slate Magazine.
Hey, what's up? I'm Jason Kirk. This fall, I am covering college football at For the Win, and I am also a founding co-host of the Shutdown Fullcast.
And kind of going off that, I am a recent graduate from Alabama, so I'll be rolling with the Tide this season, as I should. I also work at Fox Sports, and let's get this show going, and let's hear some picks for this week.
I'm into it. Jason, I think we're on the opposite side of a couple of games this week, which is, never any fun. I kind of like to ride your coattails sometimes, but I got to be honest, I think that you have way too much faith in Burt Bielema and the Illinois Fighting Illini.
I have often been accused of this. Yeah, I have I have the Fighting Illini +7 against the Nebraska Cornhuskers in the first game of the season. Really setting the tone for this year. It was just a marquee matchup right up top. Yeah, I think a touchdown's kind of a lot of points for the Huskers to be given up to a conference peer. I realize the word peer probably doesn't feel all that
so
great.
To speak. So to speak.
You lost to him by 18 last year, so we can say peer. Illinois might be able to run the ball a little bit, and that, of course, is what Burt wants to do. Nebraska hasn't really been able to throw in a great deal of time, so could be a quick game without a whole lot of plays. Let's run the ball, shorten the game, keep it close. Illinois don't have to win, just got to lose by less than a touchdown, and we're off to a good start here.
Fair enough. I'm taking Nebraska at the good side of the number, -6.5 at -114. It is some three-dimensional chess on my part. I look at Nebraska today and I see what you see, what everyone sees, which is kind of a tire fire of a college football program and a coach in Scott Frost who they might not want to have around for that much longer if you kind of read between the lines of how they've been behaving in public and how they have responded to this little NCAA matter that they have going in Lincoln right now. But I look on the other side of this game and I see just a really, 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 really bad Illinois team. They did, as you mentioned, beat Nebraska last year and then dunk on them on Twitter by saying, thank you, Nebraska, for bringing back Big Ten football, which was very funny. But I don't like to lose sight of the fact that Illinois has somehow been a markedly worse program for some years now than Nebraska. It's not that I don't think Bret Bielema can turn things around, mildly speaking, at some point, but I think Nebraska has the much better quarterback in this game, and Adrian Martinez. I think that Illinois is going to have an exceptionally hard time moving the ball at all. And so, yeah, sure, why not? Let's bet on Nebraska to win by approximately one touchdown. I will say relatedly that we're doing some futures this year at OddsChecker as well. I am thrilled to bet at the top of the Big Ten, even though I don't like to take short odds on futures bets that Ohio State will win the Big Ten at -220, because Illinois and Nebraska, even though they're in the Big Ten West and sort of the bottom of the barrel, are very good avatars for this conference this year. There is one good team in the Big Ten, and then there are, 13 other teams in the Big Ten. And these are some of the worst of those. So looking forward to seeing what they do.
Wow. Speaking of some of the worst teams, let's go directly to the other game that I believe we are opposing each other on. I have the largest number of the week, UConn +27.5. Give me the big number. I'm well aware that UConn is just about the worst FBS team possible. 27.5 is a big number on the road at Fresno State. A lot of numbers, a lot of quality computer ratings like this number, team rankings, FPI, SP+. UConn is abominable. But they have continuity, so they probably won't be worse. Pretty good. They might get slightly better. Fresno's pretty good, really exciting, clearly more talented, a little bit of a risky team. So, hey, maybe you get a couple late fluke touchdowns and bring that thing under 4 touchdowns, and we call it a W.
Katelyn, Jason, can I let you two in and anyone who is watching this video on a small secret that I have obtained knowledge of this year?
Please.
UConn is bad. Jason, you just called them abominable. I actually think you might be selling them short how bad they're going to be this year after a year off. I have educated reason to believe that they're going to be absolutely terrible, like even worse than you remember. I think that 4 touchdowns on the road in a Pacific time zone game traveling from the other coast is not by any stretch too much to ask for Fresno State to cover. I think they have the best trio of QB, running back, receiver in the Mountain West with Jake Haener at quarterback. He's a Washington transfer. Ronnie Rivers is probably the best running back in the conference, and Jalen Cropper is a yak machine wide receiver. UConn just does not have the guys to run with Fresno. I think that they're going to score plenty of points in this game. And also, I would note, if we're still talking a little bit of futures betting, I don't think anyone's really doubting that Fresno will win this game. I think they are going over 6 wins this year and going to contend in the top half of the Mountain West. I think that they are a strong bet to have a significant step forward this year under Kalen DeBoer, the former defensive coordinator of the Indiana Hoosiers.
I think we can actually go a little bit bleaker on these picks. Actually, we've discussed UConn, but the thing is, UConn's playing a pretty good team. What if?
Yeah,
we have 2 UConns in one game. Let's call this my pick of the week. I'm taking New Mexico State plus 9.5 against UTEP. This is deplorable behavior, but yeah, that's a big number. That's a lot for UTEP to be giving up to anyone in FBS. New Mexico State, really, really bad. Yep, quite possibly the worst team in FBS. Might not be a great fit for Division I. They were the extremely rare FBS team to take part in the FCS spring season earlier this year, and they look quite bad, barely going 1-1.
Yeah,
that's experience, Alex. That's experience. They got live spring games, 2 of them, and yeah, that's all we're acknowledging here. Practice reps, we love it. We love to see the experience. And this is really just a bet that UTEP, again, quite possibly FBS's second worst team, shouldn't be favored by almost 10 on the road against anybody.
I think that's a reasonable point. I like that. I think it's a smart pick of the week. My pick of the week, we are going to the under, Jason, and we are also going to the islands. We are watching UCLA and Hawaii on Saturday, under 69.5. I think a lot of things point to this being sort of a slog of a low-scoring game with very bad offense. For one thing, it is week 0, not even week 1. It's sort of the proto preseason that we have here. It is being played in what is more or less a high school stadium. If you're familiar, Aloha Stadium has quite literally been condemned, and Hawaii no longer has an FBS caliber pro stadium. It is in Hawaii, which means you have sort of these body clock considerations. I know UCLA will be there well in advance of kickoff, but you never know when you are mixing time zones, how someone might come out, if they're going to be a little bit sluggish, a little bit tired. Also, UCLA has 90% of its production returning on defense. That's continuity. And I expect them to take some steps forward on that side of the ball. I don't really expect them to take steps forward on offense because as shocking as this would be to tell someone like 7 years ago, Chip Kelly ain't really running up the score these days when the Bruins have the ball. I think Dorian Thompson-Robinson is not especially good, and we'll see if maybe he takes some steps forward this year. But I would like to see more before I'm expecting UCLA to actually score a lot of points. I definitely don't think Hawaii is under Todd Graham. Hence, we have the under at 69.5. And I think that's my dance card for the week. So I'm kind of excited to start presumably 3-0. One can only guess.
I have also a few win total picks to run through. Put me down for Northwestern over 6.5 wins. I don't even care. I'm not even gonna look at the schedule, the roster, any of it. It's just Northwestern is impervious to math. It doesn't make any sense. Northwestern, you should always, quite frankly, you should always bet on Northwestern. The 7-1 against the spread last year since 2015, best P5 team against the spread. There is no reason for it. There's no excuse for it. This team shouldn't be any good. Every piece of math you can find confirms it, and yet who knows? So I'm betting on Northwestern. Sure, the defensive coordinator changed for the first time in forever. Does that matter? I don't know. Pat Fitzgerald's still in charge. Could have a really good secondary. Not a tough schedule by Big Ten West standards. So yeah, Northwestern 7 wins. Who cares? They
have Hunter Johnson at quarterback for his 19th college season. So I understand why you would be interested in that.
Yes. Put me down for LSU under 8.5. Which LSU anywhere between 11-1 and 6-6 is believable. Just like, which year was the fluke, right? 2019, was that just a completely paradigm-breaking collection of talent? Was 2020 closer to the real thing, or was 2020 a bunch of injuries and opt-outs and Bo Pelini and mistakes like Bo Pelini? You know, we really don't know. The answer is probably somewhere in the middle, but if we call those the ceiling and the floor, respectively, I think I just see a really, really talented team with a lot of questions, quarterback and elsewhere, that has a really hard schedule. It's just a schedule with a lot of coin flip type games, including almost the entire road schedule, starting with, since you've talked up UCLA's defense, yeah, that trip to UCLA's defense, that's just going to be a nightmare.
Oh, absolutely.
Probably not
complete
quite.
nightmare.
But I see something like 8-4, which a lot of the computer systems agree with. So if it has to go, 8-4 cashes, so good. I'm going to take UNC under 10. UNC, really good. Should be good on offense. Sam Howell, favorable schedule. 10 wins certainly on the table. A lot of turnover among the skill, the skill weapons. A lot of potentially tricky road trips. Like, it would not be far-fetched to see UNC losing some mix of Notre Dame, Pitt, NC State, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, losing 1 or 2 games from that mix. And then you have Miami at home as well. Take one of each of those columns in this bet as a push. And the computer ratings, team rankings has 8.9 wins for UNC. FPI has 8.7. Like 10 feels a little aggressive here for UNC. Like, should be a really good team, but 10 wins is a lot. And put me down for Wyoming over 8. Excellent continuity across the board, roster, coaching staff. The offense could be improved, but that's not the star of the show here. They're just, no points are going to happen. Great, perfect. It's the way Craig Bowl likes it. His Wyoming 16th best against the spread since 2016. Not really a scary schedule. FPI says it's the country's second easiest, which seems, I'm not going to go that far, but almost every game is winnable. You could even say the road trip to Boise, you can count that too. So 8-4 doesn't feel aggressive for the Cowboys for me. And that is my entire card heading into week 0.
The thing I love about picks at this point in the year is that I haven't missed one all season. I'm undefeated. Haven't lost a single cent, and we're trying to keep it that way for as long as possible.
Well, some great bets, some great picks, and who will you guys ride with, Alex or Jason? Some great similar views, but also a lot of great opposing views. So we'll see after this week. And I think that's all that we have for today. Time is running up for this week's first show of Beat the Odds College Football Edition. We will be here next week and every week after for this entire football season, bring you the latest college football picks. And you can find out more on OddsChecker.com for more info so you can win that money. And we'll catch you guys next week. I'm Katelyn Heffler.
I'm Alex Kirshner.
I'm Jason Kirk.
We'll see you guys next week.